Hello, and what's the story? My name is Jake, and you're also joined by my lovely assistant Al for the special edition of the Under Center podcast. Al, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Jake. How are you?
That is excellent to hear. I'm doing also excellent. I just had a big feed for dinner, so I'm quite sleepy, but we'll
Lovely.
get through it. It's fine. It's good. It's good.
I've yet to have me dinner, but I'm all coffeeed up, so
Oh wow, coffee this late in the hour, Al?
yeah, might as well.
Gotta treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself. Yeah, so we're going to get into it. We're going to start with a couple of little news pieces that we have got going. We'll talk a little bit about Aaron Rodgers, his injury, and what it means. So maybe we'll start with that one. Did you catch much of the game, the Monday night game, or the Sunday night game, rather? Aaron Rodgers, the Eagles. Aaron Rodgers went 11 for 16, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, but he had got an oblique injury. I think it was an oblique injury. The initial diagnosis was he was out indefinitely, but only recently we see in tweets that he is now feeling fine and he's planning to play this Sunday.
Yeah, I did see it. I didn't see it initially. I only watched it today, and you'd swear the way people were talking was that Aaron Rodgers was just a complete disaster. But I thought he played all right. He was fine. He wasn't brilliant, but he was fine. Now, I will say Jordan Love definitely looked better when he came in for last quarter. So, unless Aaron Rodgers is just stubborn, I think they should sit him, let him heal, because his thumb, that's an avulsion fracture. So what that is, as far as I know, is the part of your bone that's attached to all your like ligaments and stuff. A bit of that has actually come off. So it's pretty much a full break.
It does not sound pleasant.
No. So between his new injury and his thumb, I think they should just sit him and see what they have in Jordan Love, because I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be there next year.
Yeah, a part of me thinks this is a little bit of a smokescreen from the Packers to be like, you have to prepare for Aaron Rodgers and not prepare for Jordan Love. But I feel like this is just all smokescreen, trying to put the other whoever they're playing next week. I don't know who it is now, but just putting them off a little bit, giving them a little bit of extra work to go through, prepare. They're playing the Bears on Sunday, so not exactly the scariest opponent to have to be playing.
No, and that would be a good time to kind of get Jordan Love into the swing of things, because they're
especially after they
that
lost.
Is not a good defense.
They lost Eddie Jackson today.
He's
I think
for
the season. I think
more or less.
Yeah, so Jordan Love played, as you said, the last quarter. He went 6 for 9, 113 yards, 1 touchdown. Looked pretty decent, which is good for Packers fans, I suppose. Because as you alluded to just a minute ago, Al, we may not see Aaron Rodgers back on the field next year for the Packers at the very least, or on the NFL field.
Yeah, I'm not convinced of it yet, but I don't know. I think he might just kind of give it a rest there.
Yeah, I think it's time for Aaron Rodgers to maybe hang up his cleats. It hasn't exactly lit the world up on fire this season.
No,
so.
and I mean, as bad as he's been, like, Aaron Rodgers absolutely deserves criticism as much as anyone on the team. But the way they've handled that team, like.
Just not drafting any offensive players, bar a quarterback in the
Aaron
first
Rodgers
round.
Is good, right? He'll do, and the rest
dig us out of a hole.
It's just epic mismanagement. So I think both sides need a fresh start.
Yeah. So who's your bets on who's going to take Aaron Rodgers? Is it going to Russell Wilson for Aaron Rodgers next year?
No one's going to want Russell Wilson.
Not after this season.
No.
We'll move on. So we'll talk very quickly just about one of the news pieces this week is that Deshaun Watson's return to the NFL field after an 11-game suspension. Won't get into the whole the backstory behind that. We all know it fairly well at this stage. He's got his first game back coming on Sunday against his old team, what a surprise. The NFL manages to have a random team come back after the suspension
what
to be
his chances?
What are the chances? So it's been 700 days since Deshaun Watson's last game on a regular season. We, of course, played the preseason for the Browns just this past preseason. So we at least got to see him in some live form, and he did not look great.
No, I wouldn't be expecting him to light the world on fire here. No. I mean, as you said, it's been over 2 years. Well, a little under since he's played a game. He's going to be rusty. You know, as much talent as he has, obviously, he's going to be rusty, and there's going to be a learning curve there. So I wouldn't expect big things from next week. I mean, he might be better than Brissett, but Brissett's played pretty well.
He's played okay. Like I was just thinking that, like,
he's been a serviceable. I mean, even above serviceable quarterback for the year, despite some mistakes. So if needs be, they do have a decent quarterback to fall back on if Watson doesn't play well in his return. But, yeah, I don't know. He fucking won it with that contract.
Yeah, I know. Absolute albatross hanging over the Browns there. But yeah. I'm expecting the game plan.
Was it three firsts and that contract?
I don't even know. This just the thing.
Yeah,
was just a whole disaster from the beginning.
Yeah. If this doesn't work out, that front office is going to be shot into the sun.
No, they'll just restart Jake Biscuit. It'll be fine. The Browns are 4-7 at the minute, and the Texans are 1-9-1. So not exactly a primo matchup for the ages. Might be the best intro into the NFL onto the Browns that we could have Deshaun Watson could have asked for.
Yeah.
I'm expecting them to go for some sort of a game plan where it's a lot of rollouts, easy completions for a while until he gets back into the kind of the swing of things and figures it all out again.
Yeah, I think they'll lean into the quick game for a while until because they don't want to, like, if they've got a good offensive line, one of the best in the league, but I still wouldn't want to risk it.
Yeah, you're gonna be relying on Nick Chubb and that backfield as well. And David Njoku. Yeah, that backfield
they've been excellent in their own right. Yeah, so.
And David Njoku, I think he's been playing quite well recently. He looks good. He looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was our short little piece on Deshaun Watson. Let me just swap over to my next page. We're going to talk now about your team, Al, the Seahawks, and how they came out of Sunday feeling a little bit sore after an extraordinarily long game. So I don't know if you want to hit us up with any of your feelings, or do you want me to start and then you can go into it?
I suppose I'll give it a go. You can point to the offense and, you know, sure, they made some mistakes. Geno, I mean, I mentioned before, Geno's been making some real dangerous throws, and now maybe interceptions are turning into actual interceptions, and there was no run game, but this game lies squarely on the defense. I mean, they were just useless. Awful. I don't think I've seen them regress like this. They've started off shit and then have gotten better, and that's been kind of the trend for the last 5 years, I'd say. I haven't seen them regress, and certainly not to this level. And the game plan as well was just, let's ignore Josh Jacobs, arguably, let's say top 2 running back, and double and triple Devontae Adams all game. Brilliant. You limit him to 67 yards. Good job. Josh Jacobs had over 300 yards on the game total.
He had 229. He had 229 yards rushing, and then on top of that, the extra scrimmage yards to get him above 300 yards. That's a shit.
They didn't change the whole game. They didn't change. They just stuck They just stuck like the 3 defensive linemen, 4 defensive linemen, huge gaps, like huge spacing for them to run through. Like, they didn't stick what made them better, which was a 5 front, so bare. So creating one-on-ones, and that's what made them best. Their defensive line isn't good enough to take on double teams, even against bad offensive lines. So I don't know what they were thinking. As much praise as we can heap on Pete this year, that was, he deserves to be nailed to the wall for that one. That was
it's
ugly.
now the second loss in a row for your Seahawks. Dangling in there, not too bad for you though. You're second place in the NFC West. I think you have about 2 or 3 wins on the Cardinals at this stage, correct?
Yeah, we swept the Cardinals, thankfully.
That's always good. You can always rub that in certain people's faces, all right.
We got Rams up next, so as bad as they've been, I don't know.
Division games are always weird, so you don't know how they're ever going to go. Hopefully that you can maybe pull one out against whoever is playing quarterback. Is it John Walford or something for them?
I want to say Bryce Perkins.
Bryce Perkins, yeah. John Walford was backing him up, I think.
Yeah.
Gino, how did you think he played? He was 27 for 37 for 328 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception, and a fumble lost.
Yeah, he was all right. Definitely made mistakes. Don't want to just say, just because he was under pressure, which, I mean, Jesus, he was under constant pressure the whole game. I mean, the center, I can't remember the name of the defensive lineman that was getting him, but Austin Blythe was just getting bullied all game, just like instant pressure up the middle. And then the rookie Abe Lucas, as good as he's been, got jobbed by Max Crosby. So yeah, rough game all around. I'm not ready to give up on Gino. I know Dara was giving him a bit more flack than I was, but he's I haven't seen enough bad from him yet to say that this is going to be a trend. I mean, that offensive line were awful in that game. They got bullied. The whole offensive line got bullied. So Gino didn't really stand a chance.
I know that from my own Giants struggles with lack of offensive line. It's Geno Smith coming into an offseason where he is due to be paid. Am I right?
Yeah, he's on a 1-year deal. I'm still, I don't know.
What do you do?
I mean, it's nice
what
to
do you
think.
Do?
Yeah, it's nice to think that we could pay him and then spend our first 4 picks on the defense, which, God, we need it. I love Will Anderson or Jalen Carter. Please lose out Broncos and give us a top 3 pick, because that's really our only hope with Will Anderson. I don't know what to do. I don't know, because we could franchise tag him, but that'd cost
35 million or something.
35 million. I think we could chance kind of offer them at this point, I'd say 25 would be good for me. 25, like a $50 million contract, so 25 over 2 years.
So a 2-year contract, see what you get out of that, and then.
But I don't know whether you take that. With the way the QB market is, he will get paid. Like, he'll get paid mad money somewhere.
Yeah.
So
I think it'll be a mistake, personally.
Yeah, I don't think he's never going to be like that guy. He's never like, although we didn't think he was going to be anywhere close to this
guy
before this season. So so you just don't know. Another offseason could change again, but I don't know. And there's definitely been some regression. Like, as good as he started out, the inevitable regression has come. We'll just see how we.
I think at least regression for Geno Smith is okay, because he has excelled everybody's expectations for him so far this season. So he's going back to still above what people thought Geno was going to play. I mean,
he still leads the league in completion percentage. And if he stays on this, it will be the highest completion percentage ever for a quarterback. Which is pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do with him. I still haven't made up my mind on whether I want to still draft a
quarterback, right? Like, one of the top quarterbacks.
The
Texans are probably going to go for that,
right? Bryce Young, but the Texans are going to take him.
Yeah. There's a lot of QB needy teams this year in that draft.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting off season for the Seahawks anyway.
Yeah. There's a lot wrong with this team, and I just don't know where to focus first.
Yeah. He's not been losing you games necessarily himself, so maybe it is smart, as you say, to start picking defensive players. Maybe you could shore up the offensive line. They've been playing quite well, though, right? Up until
the offensive line has been better. Still, I mean, you're dealing with two rookies. They've been good, and Abe Lucas has actually been better than Charles Cross, which is mad. But I mean, we're still dealing with two rookies. Austin Blythe has been all right. He's the center. We've been rotating at guard, right guard, and it's we need a lot of positions filled on this team, mostly on defense. But yeah, it's just it'll be a couple of years before this team is a proper contender. Hopefully.
Again, let's move on to the Mike White versus Zach Wilson paradox that we have currently. Zach Wilson benched after some awful performances. And I think probably what was the straw that broke the camel's back was no accountability for basically what was almost his fault. If you hold another team to 3 points defensively, you should win that game 99 times out of 100.
Yeah, like you have, I mean, that if they just have a better quarterback, this team is competing this year. I don't know whether it's for a Super Bowl, but they're certainly going to compete in the playoffs. And they're just not doing it offensively. Like, they've got the pieces there. They've got good receivers. Their offensive line isn't terrible despite injuries. And he's just been awful. Like, awful. And especially last week against the Patriots. Just embarrassing. And he says, no. Like,
he got
the hell out of here.
He was 9 for 22 for 77 yards in that Pats game. That is an abysmal stat line.
22.2 QB rating.
That's a lovely QB rating.
And then on the flip side, I have Mike White's stuff here. 22-28, 315, 3 touchdowns, 91.2 QB rating, and 149.3 passer rating, which was the highest in week 12.
He looked good. He looked very good.
Yeah. Zach Wilson is not getting his job back.
Do you think that's going to be that way for the season?
I don't know. I mean, even if Mike White plays as half as good as he did.
It is important to note that they played the Bears, which were only gassing down.
There is that. I mean, yeah, when you compare like the Patriots, they are a top defense. I don't know about top 5, but
they're better than the Bears
top 10,
by a large margin.
There's a big gap in between the Bears and the Pats. So there is definitely a difference there, but I don't know. Zach isn't getting his job back anytime soon anyway.
I feel like my thoughts were that if the Jets were planning to win on this season, they would have started Joe Flacco at a veteran quarterback position. Now, obviously, I was proven wrong in the last game, as Mike White did fabulously against the Bears defense. That they're not great. Like, I mean, we can't give them too much, pop his head too much, because they are a shit defense. But still play good. 3 touchdowns is nothing to sniff at. 315 yards, still a very good stat line from no interceptions, and was decisive. True in stride to a lot of his receivers and stuff. He actually just looked good.
Yeah. Like, you just didn't have that with Zach Wilson. Like, he just wasn't. How do you say it? He wasn't thrown without or with any anticipation or anything. I think he was just overthinking everything, and he just doesn't see things properly, and absolutely no awareness. Like, against the Patriots, he was looking directly ahead of him at a defender and still ran directly into that defender for a sack. Like, I know he could see him. Like, the helmets don't obscure that much. It was coming from like here. And he just ran directly into him for a sack. Just no awareness at all. So I don't know. I think it's everything's just a bit too fast for him, you know.
So give me, do we see Zach Wilson again this season?
No.
Starting, no?
No.
Barring injury,
as bad as the Bears are, no.
If Mike White goes and throws 3 interceptions this weekend, does he get benched for Zach Wilson?
No,
really? Players. Okay. I think we'll see Zach Wilson starting again without taking injury into consideration. I say we'll see Zach Wilson starting on this team again this season.
Oh yeah, I don't think so.
I think so. We'll
see.
Because you have to, though. You do have to.
Finished. I don't think he's finished.
Yeah, no, he's not finished. But you do have to see what you have in him, because you have to draft a replacement. You're not going to stick with Mike White.
We've seen it.
He's only a year and a half into the league. He's not exactly a veteran that's been starting to downplay. I don't know. I feel like you're not
happy to be proven wrong. I'm never going to root for anyone's demise. I'm happy to see him play well and prove me wrong. But I don't see it.
I know it just has shades of people anointing Davis Mills on the Texas as the best thing. And then he's benched for Kyle Allen, who also isn't good either. This is what it has to me. So I feel like
Kyle Allen wasn't just not good.
We know what the Texans are playing for, and it's not to win this season. Okay, so let's just move on to our last topic then. We'll wrap it up nicely with a little Thursday night preview of the Bills versus the Pats at Gillette Stadium. Al, give me your thoughts leading into this match.
I think the Pats could sneak out a win because
that's Mac Jones, big, so it's prediction there.
It's at Gillette Stadium. Okay, they're at home. The Pats defense is good, certified. They're good. All right. And Mac Jones just had a good game, surprisingly. He wasn't
against
complete
a
shit.
Bad team.
I wouldn't call them bad. It was the Vikings, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not world beaters, are they? I mean, they're okay, I guess.
They're not bad either.
Good record, though, I guess.
He looked all right. Now, I will say a lot of it was so that the Vikings were playing a little bit of middle field open, and the Pats exploited that. So there was a few of his passes that were just wide open, and if he didn't throw them, that would have been stupid. But he played all right. I don't know if he can do it again, but he played all right. And Josh Allen has been struggling. The elbow is obviously affecting him.
Yep.
And I mean, they just barely squeaked a win against the Lions, who I'll give them props for their defensive turnaround. That's impressive. They are not for real. They are not a serious team this year.
Like if you tell you, the Bills are favored by 5.5 points. So you're going to take the Pats over them?
I don't know if I will. I'm just saying I think they could. They're frisky. I said to you last week the Jags were frisky. The Pats are frisky, I think.
Let's just say that the Pats D has recently played. Let's just forget about the good Vikings game that I don't know if it was that good, but before that they played Zach Wilson and Sam Ehlinger. I mean, they're not we're not exactly talking about quality quarterbacks there that the Pats D has had to face in recent weeks.
No. Yeah, as I said, I'm not overly convinced. I think the most likely outcome is the Bills win that game.
It's an AFC matchup, AFC East matchup. Division games always swing weirdly.
This year just doesn't make sense. There are no good teams. Good teams are getting beat by bad teams, and bad teams aren't. I don't know. It's a weird year.
I'll give you another few things here for you, which might swing your Pats decision a bit heavier. The Bills are going to also be missing Von Miller and Tre'Davious White. So there's some big pieces that you're going to miss.
Yeah, I don't think Von Miller has been the game changer that he has been.
But he's still Von Miller. He's not he's going to be better than 90% of other second pass rushers.
I will say, though, they were missing Tre'Davious White for 6 or 7 games. And they did all right without him. So we'll see. I think they'll be all right without him. But
both the Pats and the Bills have played on Thanksgiving, so they both get like a little mini bye, extra 3 or 4 days on top of the week off that they have, or the week that they have. So maybe we'll see a little bit Josh Allen's elbow feeling a bit stronger. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean it's obviously not getting worse. It's affecting him, but it's not getting worse. So I think as time goes on, it'll get better. And they're still the Bills. Like, I mean, they still got a ton of talent. I will say the lack of receivers will bite them. I think they're not going to the Super Bowl because of that.
I think they're still pretty heavily bound towards Super Bowl. They have a good chance as almost any of the top teams in the AFC.
Like I don't see anyone else but the Chiefs. I mean, as much as they've been, I wouldn't even call it struggling. I think the Chiefs are the AFC representatives this year. I just don't see anyone else in the AFC as a real like deep threat.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I mean, the Dolphins 8-3, Bills 8-3. You would say the Bills are better than the Dolphins, right?
Oh God,
I guess.
No. I better say something nice about the Dolphins, or I'll have two and on me. Unreal. Don't say anything bad about Tua. Dolphins fans don't like that.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Oh, 2-on. I didn't know what you said. The Dolphins are on a 5-win streak, though. So,
no, they are good.
I don't feel like they're Super Bowl bound, but I know. And then the Chiefs are 9-2. The Ravens are 7-4. Bengals are 7-4, and Titans are 7-4.
Yeah, I don't know. Like Bengals as well
they haven't looked smooth, have they?
Like the Ravens looked like shit last week.
Well, they lost to the Jags, didn't they?
Yeah, and like the Jags looked all right, but the Ravens looked bad. They just looked bad. And the Bengals have had struggles of their own. Was it not for I don't know who it was, but like, do not touch the long snapper. Don't touch the long snapper. Don't touch the long snapper, and you win the game. Don't touch the long snapper.
As easy as pie. Bengals are getting Jamar Chase back soon, or have, I don't know, but pretty good. Like, that could be a good turnaround for late season edition. Like,
oh yeah, they need him back big time.
Yeah, Joe Mixon can't do it all, and Joe Burrow certainly can't either. So
Mixon has been out, hasn't he? It's been Pirine.
Yeah, I think he got injured last week, did he? But still, we'll see how it goes. I guess that'll be a good time to end the show here. Al, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me on. It was a good little chat.
Of course, it was a nice little chat. Of course, you can follow us on Under Center Pod on Twitter, Under Center Pod Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube at Under Center Podcast, CENTRE, the Irish way of spelling it. Al, I will talk to you later.